Hello, I'd like to welcome you all to our brand new advanced tech training for today, where we'll be covering apps for sleep. Again, yesterday we talked about Alzheimer's disease and brain health, and a lot of videos mentioned sleep, and we actually talk about that as well. So I'm really looking forward to our apps for sleep session today. I'm going to read our disclaimer before we get started. The WildTech DC Senior Digital Equity Program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information in the apps or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters as a sub for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Yes, again, I'm not a doctor, just providing and sharing information. But again, always recommend for any specifics, you go to your primary care provider. Also, if you cannot hear me or see the screen, hear the videos, please let me know in the chat. I would appreciate that. Let's make sure to keep our TVs and cell phones in mind. So that way we can all hear each other. And then, as always, make sure you take notes and or screenshots so you could review the information for later on. But again, this session be on our YouTube. So hello, YouTube, and you can review and rewind as much as you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and let's get started with our session. We're going to be covering apps for sleep today. All right. So we're going to be learning about the science of sleep, the benefits of good sleep and its various health benefits, and of course, better sleep tips. So suggested healthy sleep habits for all to take advantage of. And of course, have an overview and discussion and talking about how will you improve your sleeping habits. So again, thank you so much. I look forward to this session today. Hope you learn a lot. So first up, we have the science of sleep. So opening questions, okay? You can unmute yourself and share. Um, just keep in mind if someone else is sharing. How many hours of sleep do you usually get? And do you feel your sleep has changed as you've gotten older? So two quick questions. Any takers?
I usually get 9 or 10 hours of sleep, and my sleep patterns have changed since I've gotten older. I sleep more. Sometimes I get 11 hours of sleep. So I sleep more as I've gotten older.
Thank you for sharing, Geraldine. I see your hand. Bridget, thank you.
I don't sleep well at all. I might get 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. And my sleep pattern has changed dramatically ever since I stopped working. I
Mm-hmm.
don't sleep, I hardly sleep at all, actually. And
Okay.
I'll take a cat nap, like 20 minutes during the day, on and off, but I don't sleep well at all. Which I'm surprised I don't have bags on my
It's okay. It's okay, Bridget. I hope the tips today will certainly help out. But I appreciate you sharing and your honesty, okay? I really all right, just again, real quick, I got these three hands and then we'll go on. So we got Anne and then Louise and then Miss Carolyn.
What you want me to talk now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I just didn't want to interrupt anybody else. I'm having problems sleeping, and the doctor thinks it might be one of my medicines that's got a I've got an irregular pattern because I usually get 6 to 7 hours of sleep at night, but now I'm waking up. I keep waking up, and I am irritable, and that's not me. So I'm kind of working on that. And I'm maybe it's because I've got joint pain, and that's not working out with the medication. So
Mm.
yeah,
I appreciate you sharing that, Anne. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Louise and then Miss Carolyn.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. You're unmuted, right?
I
Mm-hmm.
usually get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. I might wake up some nights at 3 or 4 to go to the bathroom, but usually once I put my head down, I'm going for it. And then in the daytime, I do get a little nap every once in a while. And my sleep pattern has changed. I used to go to bed much later, but now I go to bed a little earlier,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
get enough rest, because you get so cranky when you don't sleep well
Mm-hmm.
and you feel tired. So that's it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing. With your second point, oh yeah, we're gonna get into that. So I thank you for bringing that up. And then you, Miss Carolyn, how many hours and do you feel your sleep has changed?
Drastically. When I was working, I would get maybe 6 hours. Now I get 3 to 4 hours. I
Mm.
usually lay down about maybe 11 or 12, and I'm up around 4. And then I'm usually up all day until the time comes again around 11 or 12.
Mm.
I don't get irritable, but I think because of a lot of pain that I'm in, but I've always been more or less a night person. And my mother was a night person because mother worked 11 to 7 shift. So I felt that I've inherited that part from her.
Mm. Oh, I
But,
appreciate you
I
sharing.
even have a sleep pack machine, and that helps sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all good.
Oh, well, just like I said before, I hope today will help you out and try to break that cycle because everyone deserves good sleep. So I appreciate you all sharing. Before learning anything and just seeing, and then I hope what you all shared, and you see it in these videos and this information, and maybe something will the light bulb will go off. So I thank you all so much. That was amazing. For me, I get about 6 to 7 hours of sleep, and I certainly feel like my sleep has changed. I actually used to go to sleep a little earlier than I do kind of now. So I'm from that perspective, my age, sleep, I feel as though does change as you get older in any stage, but certainly and especially, of course, for seniors. That's why we're, talking about it today, and I hope this really helps you out, you guys. So first up, I have this quick article for us from NIH. We read one about Alzheimer's and dementia and brain health yesterday. So this one is about sleep in older adults. So this is just a quick background, okay? So I'm going to go through it pretty fast. But older adults need about the same amount of sleep as all adults, 7 to 9 hours each night, okay? 7 to 9. But older people tend to go to sleep earlier and get up earlier than they did when they were younger. So someone mentioned that, right? Getting enough sleep helps you stay healthy and alert, but a lot of older adults don't sleep well. If you're always sleepy, or if you find it hard to get enough sleep, someone mentioned medications or kind of a generational thing. It may be time to, if you haven't already, to speak with a doctor. Okay. We spend about a third of our lives sleeping or trying to sleep, and but it's very, very complex. We have something called the circadian rhythm, or our body's clock, which provides the timing for our sleep. And of course, everyone's is a little different, right? Certain signals in your body lead to sleep. This includes the natural creation of melatonin, which is a hormone that your body releases when it gets dark. That makes you feel sleepy. And adenosine, which is a chemical that builds up in your brain while you're awake and gets broken down while you're asleep. Uh, there are two types of sleep that we'll mention today: rapid eye movement, REM, and non-REM sleep. Basically, REM sleep is the dreaming sleep. Non-REM is deep sleep. Okay, and these usually occur in cycles. So we'll learn more about it in our later video. Sleep is important, of course, for the brain, heart, lungs, for energy, protection against disease, and mood. So yes, the irritableness, the tiredness, right? That's because of lack of sleep. A good night's sleep can help you learn, create new memories, respond quickly, solve problems, pay attention, make decisions, and be creative. We all want to be that, right? Because we all want to be the best version of ourselves. So I think that's, of course, very important. And not getting enough sleep can increase your risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, and diabetes. And we don't want that, right? So, or making those symptoms even worse when we don't have enough sleep. Lack of quality of sleep, problems with memory. Yes, good sleep is the avenue or ticket to retention. Negative feelings, more stress, and increased risk of falls or accidents. Because when you're sleepy, you're tired, you may fall, close your eyes for just a second, and next thing you know, you may be falling or have an accident, especially if you're driving, right? So we don't want any of those to occur. Okay. Again, please make sure you check out the link in the chat for more information, right? Yep, sleep tends to be a little shorter and lighter during the night. Older adults are more likely to take medications and have medical conditions that affect sleep. So yes, these conditions can affect sleep, but so that in turn unfortunately it's a little bit of a domino effect, as you can see. When you deal with one thing, you may be dealing with subsequent other challenges, right? So it's really important to for overall health to make sure you're doing the best that you can do, right, with getting that help. Tips for getting good night's sleep. We'll learn more later on, following a regular schedule, by going to sleep and getting up at the same time each day. Bedtime routines, making it your room comfortable. Exercise, it's so important during the day, not right before bedtime, but during the day. It's so important to get regular exercise. You are sleeping off and your muscles are still relaxing and from that sleep and from that exercise. Avoiding caffeine late in the day, avoid napping in the late afternoon or evening, right? Even for kids, right? If you go to sleep around 6-7 p.m. and you wake up at 9-10, then you may not be sleeping until 2-3 in the morning, right? So just keeping those naps in mind, right? Avoid eating large meals within 2 to 3 hours of bedtime, or liquid, because with that you're more likely to use the restroom in the middle of the night. So I hope these are helpful as well. So insomnia, right? Sleep apnea. There's a couple of things that could be going on. So if you I'm going to read this section, I think we'll go through, but restless leg syndrome, right? Movement disorders. Feels like if you feel tingling or crawling or pins and needles, the feeling is worse at night and feels better with movements. Periodic limb movement disorder causes people to jerk and kick their legs every 20 to 40 seconds during sleep. So if that occurs, again, contact your doctor. REM, sleep behavior disorder, people with that can move their muscles and actually act out their dreams. This disrupts sleep and it can be dangerous, right? So I'm not saying it's sleepwalking, but as I'm reading it here, but that's kind of sounds like it a little bit too. So based on your symptoms, your doctor may suggest a polysomnogram, an overnight sleep test done at a sleep center that measures and records what happens while you sleep, including your brain activity, eye movements, muscle activity, to make a diagnosis. So if you really have trouble sleeping, you may suggest to your doctor a polysomnogram, and basically overnight sleep test. Okay. Stay safe. Installing smoke alarms while you sleep, on each floor. Locking all the windows, keeping a telephone with emergency numbers, having a lamp that's easy to get to, not smoking, especially in bed, removing items such as rugs and cords that you could trip over if you wake up during the night, right? We learned that with Tori. So I really enjoyed reading this article. I learned so much, and I hope you all did as well. Okay. We're gonna watch some videos and then we'll quickly do a chat, okay? So first up, this quick video, what happens when we sleep? So again, the REM sleep, non-REM sleep, what actually happens when we sleep? Enjoy.
Every night, almost everyone on the planet enters into a state of unconsciousness and paralysis. But what is really happening inside the body when we drift off? And what's the impact if we don't get enough sleep? Sleep is regulated by your circadian rhythm, or body clock, located in the brain. The body clock responds to light cues, ramping up production of the hormone melatonin at night and switching it off when it senses light. There are 4 stages of sleep that the body experiences and cycles throughout the night. On a good night, we cycle through these stages 4 or 5 times. Stages 1 and 2 are light sleep. This is the transition from being awake to falling asleep. Heart rate and breathing begin to slow, body temperature falls, and muscles may twitch. Stage 3 is sometimes referred to as delta sleep because of the slow delta brainwaves that are released during this stage. This is the first stage of deep sleep, where our cells produce the most growth hormone to service bones and muscles, allowing the body to repair itself. Stage 4 is where we begin to dream. The body creates chemicals that render it temporarily paralyzed, so that we do not act out our dreams. In this stage, the brain is extremely active, and our eyes, although closed, dart back and forth as if we were awake. Humans roughly spend 1/3 of their lives asleep. Modern lifestyles, stress, and the proliferation of technology mean that people are sleeping far less today than they were a century ago. Sleeping less than 7 hours per day is associated with an increased risk of developing chronic conditions, which could reduce life expectancy. So for
Yeah, obesity, diabetes, heart disease.
a healthier, longer life, get some shut-eye.
Any quick thoughts on the video or the article that we just read together? Any quick thoughts? You can unmute yourself. Any quick thoughts before our next video? Okay.
I couldn't get unmuted. I'm sorry. I found that I'm having kind of like nightmares at night, so I'm trying to figure out what that's all about. And I was figuring out, but the doctor says that it has something to do with the stress you go through during the day.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking a little bit as well. So I hope what we learned today will help you out. But yes. Thank you so much for sharing, Anne.
Alex, Yvonne here.
Mm-hmm.
In the video, it said dreaming may help you regulate your emotions, I think, something to that effect. I was
Mm-hmm.
wondering how that comes into play and what that really means.
Well, yes, that's a great question, Yvonne. And of course, I don't have a specific answer, but when you think of dreams and you're acting out certain things, your dreams can tell you a lot about what's maybe going on. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean when you have a good a good dream or an action dream, like you feel certain you see and feel certain emotions. So
yeah.
that's
And
definitely a
I tend
question.
to have recurring dreams, a dream that seems to recur over and over, uh, not
Oh, well,
daily, but it comes back and forth. And my daughter was saying that maybe it's trying to tell me something, or I don't know.
as always, Yvonne, make sure you Google it and see,
I will.
and type it in and say what the meaning of such and such in a recurring dream, and then see what comes up. Okay, look at different resources.
I'm going to do that for sure.
So even on this call, you could go there and just look for yourself and see what's happening. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing. All right, this next video is from Yale Medicine, and I think it was very informative, and I hope you guys learn a lot and learn some good tips about sleep. So again, make sure you check out those captions. Gonna play it a little faster, and hope you guys enjoy.
My name is Brian Miner, and I'm assistant professor at Yale University in the section of geriatrics. I've also done training in sleep medicine, and today I'm going to talk about sleep and aging, and I'm going to cover the different ways that sleep might change as we age, all of the different factors that might be causing sleep problems as we get older, and when you should speak with your doctor about a sleep problem. Most people think that as you get older, you need less sleep, but if we look at how much sleep is recommended, it really doesn't change from middle to older age. So middle-aged adults, according to the National Sleep Foundation, should be getting the real sort of sweet spot is 7 to 9 hours. And in adults 65 and older, it's 7 to 8 hours. So, you know, we do recognize that a little bit on either side, so 5 hours or up to 9 hours may be appropriate. But, you know, I think the interesting thing is that if you compare middle-aged and older age adults, the recommendation for how much sleep you should be getting is the same. As we get older, there are probably multiple things going on at the same time that might impact our sleep. So I like to think about what medical conditions or medications a patient of mine might be taking and how that might affect their sleep. Medical conditions could certainly cause pain or other sleep disruptive symptoms. People can be on medications that could make them very sleepy during the day. Those medications could make it hard for them to sleep at night. Or, interestingly, those medications might cause or worsen an underlying sleep disorder. In terms of behavioral factors, we like to think about having good sleep hygiene, having good behaviors around sleeping. And so those are basic things like going to bed at the same time every night, getting up at the same time every morning, avoiding napping during the day, especially if you have trouble sleeping at night. And a big one.
That's such a huge one. If you have trouble sleeping at night, if you take a nap during the day, it will only make it even more harder to fall asleep at night. So just I got that from the video. So I hope you all did as well.
One that I like to touch on is what substances might contribute to sleep. So alcohol, especially as you get older, can cause more problems with sleep because your body is not as good at metabolizing alcohol as you get older, and you can't drink the same amount in your older age that you could in your middle age. Caffeine, same story as alcohol, and nicotine as well can make it hard to fall asleep, can make it hard to stay asleep. Other things like being socially isolated, I think we've all been thinking a lot about that, especially in the setting of COVID. So why does social isolation cause problems with sleep? Well, you're less physically active during the day, and that can make it harder to have a normal sleep-wake schedule. And those social interactions are actually also very important for giving cues to our body to help us maintain a normal sleep-wake rhythm. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention what we think about a lot in sleep medicine, which is that almost all of the sleep disorders that are out there become more common as we age. So people in their older age could have multiple things going on at the same time. One of the major changes that's normal and is not necessarily a sign of disease is that many older people prefer to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. So as opposed to going to bed at maybe say 10 or 11 o'clock, some people may have a preference to go to bed at 7 or 8 p.m. And that's because there's a change in the timing of melatonin release from our brain. So melatonin is sort of setting that time for us. And in many older people, our brain releases melatonin in an earlier time. So again, it's not necessarily a problem, except that many people don't like to go to bed at 7 p.m. Or wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. But so I would say if your preference is to go to bed at 8 p.m., there's no problem with that. But you wouldn't want to, or it would be normal then to wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. That's still a normal amount of sleep. So there's actually no problem with that unless it's a problem for your schedule. So some important takeaways about sleep as we age are first that the timing of sleep may change. So older adults may find that they have a preference to go to bed earlier and therefore wake up earlier. The amount of interruptions or arousals from sleep become more frequent as we get older, but as long as they're brief and you're able to get back to sleep, that's not a problem. And then finally, I would say there could be a lot of things contributing to sleep problems in older age, but I look at that as a glass half full kind of person. When somebody comes to me with a sleep problem, I think there are a lot of things we could do to help sleep, whether it has to do with medical conditions, medications, behaviors, or treating an underlying sleep disorder. So I think that's an important takeaway. If you do have a sleep problem, you should talk to your doctor, you should get an evaluation, and there might be a lot of options for you that don't necessarily mean having to take another medication.
Yeah. If you have an you may have an underlying sleep disorder, medications, your medical conditions, all of those may be affecting your sleep. And if it really does affect your sleep or you're not getting enough sleep, then make sure you talk to your doctor and just see what's going on. because as she said, there's a lot of things that doctors can do to assist you with this challenge. Because again, everyone deserves a good night's sleep. So thank you all so much for watching. This quick one right here, reasons seniors don't sleep well at night. So again, the quick one, hope you guys enjoy and learn something new.
Have you ever noticed that your parents or grandparents always wake up early? Have you caught them watching TV in the middle of the night? Well, it turns out that getting good sleep is more difficult as we get older. Falling asleep and staying asleep are common challenges for seniors, and here are some of the reasons why. Medication. Over half of seniors take 4 or more prescription medications, and these medications can impact sleep. Lack of physical activity. Regular exercise helps us get good sleep, but as we get older, physical movement becomes more difficult and we don't exercise as much. Sleep-related conditions. Some seniors may have conditions that make it hard to sleep. These could include restless leg syndrome, obstructive sleep apnea, and even snoring. Incontinence. The urge to use the bathroom could keep seniors from falling asleep and wake them up in the middle of the night, disrupting those Z's. Poor sleeping habits. A senior's daytime routine could impact their nighttime sleep. For example, too many naps, eating a large dinner, or drinking caffeine before bed. Chronic health conditions. Dementia, acid reflux, cardiovascular disease, COPD, and other chronic health conditions can keep a senior awake at night. Lack of quality sleep can increase a senior's health risks for depression and even falling down. If your aging loved one struggles to get a good night's sleep, encourage them to reach out.
Yep. So again, those are some various reasons why some may not sleep well at night. And if you recognize any of those, then again, it's today is, or this day is always a good day to make a change, or again, to talk to your doctor about improving your sleep. Okay. Especially that's why I love when you do chair exercises and those like yoga sessions and things like that. We have to keep our body moving, right? I think of sleep as not necessarily if you didn't work during the day, but if I don't work during the day, then like for me in sleeping, like not what's the point of sleeping, but that's the time to rest. So I try to do things during the day, activity, move around, be socially and interact with folks, right? So that way you give like mentally and I give myself a reason to go to sleep, to rest, right? So that's just kind of how I think of it, right? If I move around a lot, then I'll sleep really well at night, in a way, right? So everyone's a little different, but that's just how I kind of think about sleep a little bit. So hope that was helpful. And our first app today is one that's already on your iPads. Again, just make sure, of course, you keep your iPads updated, things of that nature, is the Apple Health app. And it provides a central and secure place for your health and fitness information. So it's easily accessible and under your control. So with this app, again, it should be all on your devices. So this is what the app looks like. Again, the Apple Health app. Okay, again, it's the white app, looks with the heart on it. That is the Apple Health app. Okay, you could go to the App Store and search for it if you'd like, just to see more information about it. If you go into the App Store, you type it in, it's right here in the top right-hand side. There's all this information here about the app that you can take a look at. But let's go into it because we're gonna talk about the sleep sections, but there are many other sections here, and I highly recommend that you use it. So this is the Apple Health app. This is what it will look like when you open it. Of course, you may see some prompts, things of that nature. But look at all these different categories here on the left-hand side. So we're not just sleep, but anything regarding nutrition, mobility, heart. You can store your medications and in this app, add it to the list, and you could see schedule them too. Any heart health. So if you want to input any of this information, or if you're someone said they're on a particular machine, you may need to input data for your doctor, so this is a great way to do so. Other data, anything like this, respiratory, mental well-being. So you can even take a mental health questionnaire and log your emotions and learn about mental health and mental well-being. But we're going to go into sleep. Okay, so look, sleep, you can add data. So adding your sleep data, this would be very helpful, especially if you have trouble sleeping. This is one way to quantify what's going on, right? So even add data, right? So you could be real specific. So in bed or asleep or awake, or you could be really specific, and then you can adjust the dates and the time. So this was yesterday. I'll sleep around 11 or something. This is just an example. 11. And you could be as specific or kind of as general as you want. So like 11 to 7. Let's say I did 11 to 7 a.m. So when you hit add, when you're done inputting the info, you get to see like your information for the week, for the month, for 6 months, right? So you can see that here. Look, sleep, about sleep. Sleep provides insight into your sleep habits. These trackers and devices can help estimate your time in bed. And look, lots of great resources. Getting a good night's sleep during the day, right? Get regular exercise, avoid nicotine and caffeine. If you're taking regular medication, check with your doctor about its effects. If you nap, try to avoid taking one within 6 hours of your bedtime. Winding down, dim the lights in the evening. Yes, when it's dark, that melatonin is released in your body, right? When you see the light, that other compound gets, wakes you up, right? A nice hot bath can help you wind down, relax before getting in bed, reading a book, listening to music, journaling a ritual. So not necessarily looking at a screen before you go to bed is really helpful, right? I love these different articles, right? So I would go through every category here and look. So look, nutrition, right? That one doesn't have one necessarily, but look, mobility, walk-in steadiness, learn about cardio fitness, exercises that may improve walking steadiness, right? So lots of these sections have different articles you can read. So look, why sleep is so important, right? Look at all this great information here as well. So not just for sleep, but for today, yes, you can record your sleep, add your data. So if you only slept 2 hours this day and 4 hours this day and 6 hours this day, or however, so you can record it and then be able to have that data. So I hope you all take advantage of this app. You could check it out right now, of course, on your ends too. Hit your home button and check out the health app on your iPad, okay? Hope you guys enjoyed that. Any quick thoughts on the health app or sleep in these videos, right? Any comments? Hope you all use the health app not just for sleep, but for all the other categories that they had in that list, okay?
I do find out that when I move around a little bit more, I'm a little tireder, so that I do rest. But since I've been in this awful pain stuff, it's kind of difficult. But I think that I'm going to look at this a little bit more. Thank you for bringing that up.
My pleasure. And of course, make sure you talk to your doctor, okay?
I will. I do.
Yes. Thank you so much. All right, so our next section is benefits of good sleep. So the various health benefits. So just for us, there are physical, mental, emotional, probably spiritual, and every other kind of health that we have is heightened when we get good sleep. Physically, sleep boosts our immune system, lowers risk of heart disease, diabetes, and stroke, and helps maintain balance and reduces fall risk. Okay, so a lot of the things we talked about with our different providers and things and other persons. And of course, mentally and emotionally, it improves memory and concentration, lowers risk of depression and anxiety, and helps regulate mood and energy levels. So again, everything that you talked about and the videos talked about, like someone said, they may not necessarily be feeling irritable, but your mood may be just feel a little different or off, right? When you don't get that sleep that you so deserve, right? Memory and concentration. You know, if I'm listening to a song, right, and I get good sleep, you know, and I listen to that song again, then, you know, like the lyrics, like I'm gonna be able to remember more. I tend to remember more lyrics when I, you know, have good sleep, you know, for a certain song, right? So that's been a like a real life example for me. Like if I get good sleep, then if I, you know, sang a song the day before and I sang it again the next day, it would be even easier to recall those lyrics and, you know, concentrate on singing, right? So I like that. And then balance and fall risk again, Tori, you know, sleep and just the rugs, you know, everything that we've learned in the past kind of is really coming together today. So just always think about this. Sleep equals this. I hope you guys learned a lot. Here's a quick video on, again, some benefits of getting quality sleep. This video is from Mayo Clinic. Oops, 1 second, you all. Thank you. Learning happens while you're awake, but retention happens while you sleep. So when I say you learn a song throughout the day, when you sleep at night, you retain it, and so the next day you remember just a little bit more. So I really that's so funny. That was the first one. Let me switch devices. Thank you all. Okay, let's continue on with the video. Yeah, so about the exercise, this one, sleep triggers growth hormones that help build and repair muscle and burn fat. So, you know, of course, those folks with, you know, those workouts and just anyone, right? When you sleep, you're building and repairing that muscle for the next day, but you're also burning that fat. The fat is not being burned while you're exercising. It's actually when you're sleeping is when these processes occur. So, you know, even if you do, you know, of course, with having that kind of physical activity will help you fall asleep and stay asleep more, but that's also when this process occurs. So it's double important to get quality sleep. Okay. All right, so real quick, you can unmute yourself. We have 2 minutes for this one. What do you notice on days when you sleep well versus when you don't? And what benefit of sleep matters most to you? So out of this video and this slide right here, which benefit is most important to you that you like? And again, sleep. What do you notice when you sleep well versus when you don't? So again, you can unmute yourself and share. Any takers? You could do 1, 2, or both. You know, either one is okay.
This is Gracie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't have a problem sleeping. Most people do, but that's one thing I don't have a problem sleeping. I just have to be sleepy before I go to bed because I can't lay there. So I stay up until I get my yawning section in. And if I go lay down, I'm asleep within a minute or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll sleep well unless I have to go to the bathroom. But I notice when I get a good night's sleep, that next day when I wake up, you know how you see people when they wake up, they stretch and they just
Mm-hmm.
jump right out of the bed
Yeah.
and go to doing something. I just seem to have excess energy. I have a better mind to maybe complete some things that I started that I wasn't working on. It just helps me like that. And that's basically what it does for me when I get my full hour's sleep, which is 4 to 6 hours of sleep. If I get that, I'm good to go.
That's good. So yeah, just being able to, get up and feel great and do that stretch and just finish those tasks. That sounds same for me as well.
Yeah.
I feel you, Miss Gracie.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
One more taker. Yeah, maybe someone we haven't heard from yet. Thank you so much for coming on. We love to hear from you. I definitely think, in my work, sleeping well, definitely memory and concentration, right? Especially if you have a lot of tasks in one day, or if you have to speak to a lot of people in one day, it's so important to have that memory to retain that info about someone and just to, make things easier during the day if you're going through a lot of tasks. So I think that's what sleep does for me, even on weekends, right? Or whatever, when you don't work,
Right.
I have quite a few things to do or to get done, responsibilities. So no sleep, I can't get those responsibilities done. And that's,
I know.
you gotta do certain things, right? As adults. So
Right.
all right. Okay, so our next app is real quick. We've talked about this quite a bit in the past before, but if you have not seen it or utilized it, the podcast app on your iPad and Apple devices is so cool. It's audio that informs and inspires. Basically, podcasts are audio episodes where you explore different shows, exploring a variety of topics, including entertainment, comedy, news, sports. But we're going to do it for health today. So look, here's the podcast app. Again, this is already on your iPad, so make sure you utilize the podcasts app. And with it, it's a simple search using the the menu on the left-hand side. And you can basically browse. So you can browse by topic or the charts, or you could do search. And look at these right here, right? Lots of different topics that you can learn about. So here you can tap one of these or search for one that you want. But look, I hope everyone utilizes the podcast app on their iPad just to listen, right? I know everyone on this call is at least interested in one of these things, like government, journals, books, fiction, documentary, science, TV, kids, technology, history, self-improvement, sports, health and fitness, true crime, comedy, right? There's so many different topics. So I recommend everyone has a chance and checks out the podcast app. But what I'm going to do is in shows, episode, and more, I'm going to be specific and just write sleep. So look, sleep. Very simple inquiry, right? So I could look at shows, I could look at episodes of certain shows, or I could look at like different channels, right? So different things where basically they have different shows. So look, Calm is really, and it's a great app. Of course, it's a paid app, but they have these free episodes available that you can utilize, right? Shows. Let me go back here. Get Sleepy, sleep meditation, and stories. Look at all these, right? And everything is free, right? Lights Out Library, sleep documentaries. Wow. So if you like to hear, a bedtime story, this is and you used to love those, and this is great. Look at that. Sleep documentaries, history of textiles, Silk Road, Journey to the Center of the Universe. Oh my goodness. I would love to see that. There's a lot of episodes out here. Bedtime stories for adults. I can't sleep. Oh wow. Sleepy stories to help you to sleep. Isn't that amazing, right? There's so many different options, right? Let me do a little more specific. Learn about sleep. Learn about sleep while falling asleep. That one looks fun. Learn about sleep while falling asleep. Look at all these. Well, the basics. You hit play.
Welcome to Learn About Sleep While Falling Asleep. This is Janice.
This is Nicole.
This is a unique podcast. It is an educational podcast that
All
wants
right,
you
look,
to
you
fall
can even do
asleep.
captions, but you'll
Tonight
just,
we're going to be
be
talking about the
listening while you fall
basics,
asleep.
disorders, and
Yeah,
misconceptions
you can
about
learn,
sleep.
podcasts, the whole point of podcasts, like,
Sleep is not
instead of
uniform.
maybe listening to music sometimes while you do household chores, you can listen to a podcast. There are so many different kinds of podcasts that you can listen to. I mean, even some here on my home, some I would listen to a Pioneer Woman, or this is one of Oprah's shows called Super Soul Summer, self improvement one, Dateline, right? There's so many different options. So I hope you all take advantage of the podcast app for any sleep podcast, but also just any podcast that you want to listen to. So if you like audio episodes, then that is definitely the app for you. Okay. And last but not least today before our discussion is better sleep tips. So healthy sleep habits. I hope these are helpful for you guys as some of the other videos too. So some background information and some tips on sleeping well. So how sleep affects your brain. I thought this quick video was quite interesting.
Sleep is essential. You can't function or survive without it. While your body is resting, your brain is a flurry of activity. It organizes the day's events and files them into storage so you can easily retrieve them later. It also catches up on housekeeping, clearing away wastes that build up during the day. The more deeply you sleep, the more effective your brain is at cleaning itself. Adults typically need 7 to 9 hours of sleep for maximum brain performance, but many of us don't get it. Too little sleep negatively affects your ability to remember and concentrate. It can also make you moodier and more irritable, and increase the risk of anxiety and depression. In addition, going too long without sleep has similar effects to being drunk, impairing judgment and performance, and increasing the risk of accidents and injuries. Over time, a lack of adequate sleep may also increase the risk of dementia. To ensure you're getting enough sleep, practice good sleep hygiene. Put away electronic devices an hour before bedtime and do something relaxing. Go to bed at the same time each night and wake up at the same time each morning. Avoid stimulants like caffeine in the late afternoon or evening and alcohol and heavy meals before bedtime. Keep your bedroom quiet, cool, and dark. And try to get in at least 30 minutes of moderately intense exercise on most days, which can improve both sleep and your overall health. The better you sleep at night, the better your brain will function, and the better you'll feel.
I love that quick video. I think the 30 minutes a day, right? If you think 30 minutes a day, there's 24 hours in a day, 30 minutes is half an hour. So it's about 30 minutes is about 1 out of 48 in the day. So about 2% of your day, just kind of think about how, just 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes, 60 minutes to, 12, 20, well, about, 5, 10% of your day, right? So I just how you run, even just walking, right? For those that can, for those that cannot, chair exercises, yoga exercise, seated exercises, talking to your doctor, physical therapy, something, right? Physical, 30 minutes every day. You will, tend to sleep better, fall asleep easier, things of that nature through, the information that we learn. So it's important, just 30 minutes a day, right? Maybe if you haven't done that, maybe start with 15 minutes a day and 20, just starting off with just being consistent with something is better than nothing. So, do what you can, speak to your doctor, but that consistency is so important.
Mhm. Well, I do a lot of my own housework, walking, and like my laundry room is downstairs. So on those days, I get good exercise and just walking up and down, cleaning, cooking, or whatever. I get my 30 minutes and more
Mhm.
every day.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, physical activity is so important. So
Hmm.
keep on doing that.
Yeah, I keep busy.
Yes, our last video for today. I thought this was really good. Again, training your brain to fall asleep and sleep better. And then we'll go into one more app for today. a brand new one. So hope you guys enjoy and again, learn something new with these tips.
When my clients come in for treatment for some of their challenges like depression, anxiety, or relational problems, one of the most common associated problems that they have is difficulty sleeping. This shows up as either having a hard time falling asleep, staying asleep, or just feeling tired all the time. Getting enough quality sleep can make your brain function much better, and you'll be better at solving problems and feel more self-control. In this video, we're going to talk about how to train your brain to sleep well, and it's called sleep hygiene.
Yep, let's have some good sleep hygiene, everyone.
Hi everyone, Emma McAdam here. I'm a licensed therapist, and I just wanted to remind you that I've got in-depth mental health courses on udemy.com. Right now they're on sale for $9.99, so check out the link in the description. Okay, back to sleep hygiene. So sleep is essential for good mental health. Lack of sleep can actually cause mental illness. Research is showing that one of the most effective ways to treat depression is by helping people improve the quality and the quantity of their sleep. One study of people with depression found that after resolving their insomnia, 87% of them experienced major improvement in their depression. Their depression symptoms disappeared after 8 weeks of good sleep. So, how do we improve our ability to get sleep? We can train our brain to sleep better. Sleep hygiene means going through a routine that trains your brain and body to know when to sleep. So, like a muscle that strengthens with practice, sleeping well is a skill we can develop. Okay, so because you're trying to trigger the autonomic nervous system to start your sleep cycle, it's really important to use a routine. If you've ever tried to get a toddler to fall asleep, you know how important it is to stick to a routine. Adults aren't too different. Remember, our minds, like Pavlov's dogs, they learn to associate sights, smells, and activities with these reflexive responses that are usually outside of our direct control. We can't force ourselves to sleep, but we can train our brain to know when to sleep. So, start by creating a wind-down routine before bedtime that the brain associates with sleeping. To do this, you want to keep a consistent schedule whenever possible, so try to go to bed and wake up around the same time each day. Dim the lights, cool the temperature, and decrease your stimulation. So, for example, do quiet activities like reading a book or taking a bath because these help trigger calm. Don't watch TV or exercise right before bed. Another thing you can do is have a routine for right before bed. So, for example, in the evening you do a snack and you change into pajamas, then you brush teeth and get into bed, read a book, pray, and go to sleep. In addition to a routine, there are some things you can do during the day that are going to improve your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. Limit your naps during the day to less than 30 minutes. Cut out screen time before bed. So not only are devices like phones and tablets and TVs very stimulating, and this triggers the alerting system in the brain, but also the tone of the light emanated from your screen tends to have a bluish tint to it. And this is similar to the bluish light in the mornings. So again, this is a biological trigger to wake up. Research shows that blue-toned lights tend to trigger alertness, and red or yellow-toned lights tend to trigger calmness. So if you must use your phone or tablet before bed, check to see if it has a night shift setting. This will shift your screen colors toward the red and yellow range. Next, turn your screen brightness down as low as possible. And use the night setting for reading. And this makes it so your text appears as white letters on a black background. So many programs have this option in their settings. Also, put your phone on Do Not Disturb mode while you're sleeping, and don't check your work emails right before bed, or read anything that could be stressful, like the news or even your Facebook feed. Another thing you want to do is take a look at your caffeine use. Avoid caffeine for at least 4 to 6 hours before bedtime. Even 1 cup of coffee or tea, even early in the morning, that can affect your sleep for up to 48 hours. So if you're not sure of how caffeine is impacting you, you could try going off caffeine for 1 week. The first couple of days, you might feel more tired, and by day 4, you'll probably start feeling better. You'll have better sleep, you'll have better energy and be more focused, and you'll most likely be waking up less at night, and you'll find it easier to fall asleep. Within 1 week, most people say, I feel better off caffeine than on caffeine. They report better energy, better mood, and better sleep. Another thing you want to think about is limiting alcohol use. While some people believe that alcohol helps them sleep, and it might help people fall asleep, alcohol interferes with your brain's ability to sleep well and repair itself, especially during the second half of the night. So that leaves you feeling more exhausted later. Another thing to think about is to avoid rich, heavy, or fatty foods before bedtime. Anything that might cause heartburn or indigestion can interfere with sleep, but so can hunger. So you could try a snack like a banana and peanut butter before bed. A warm glass of milk before bed has also been shown in clinical studies to be as effective as many sleep medications, but a lot of people just don't like the idea of drinking warm milk. You may want to try it. Exercise during the day can also greatly improve your ability to sleep, so even 10 minutes of exercise can make a difference. Also, light and sound can trigger alertness, so use earplugs, blackout curtains, or eye masks to help cut out that extra stimuli. Another thing you can try is a relaxation routine or meditation before bed. This is something like progressive muscle relaxation. You could check out the video I made on that, or you could listen to a guided imagery exercise. And again, as you're trying to create associations for your brain to trigger that sleep response, you want to only use your bed for sleeping and sex. If your brain associates your bed with watching TV or working on your laptop, eating, paying bills, and etc., your brain is going to associate your bed with alertness, not sleep. If you're having a very hard time falling asleep or falling back asleep, try getting up, get out of bed, and do something really boring, like listening to a boring audiobook or a dull documentary. Don't do anything too stimulating. When I'm having a hard time sleeping, I like to listen to this show called Time Team, where a bunch of British archaeologists try and dig to find, history. But it's a pretty slow show, and it helps me fall asleep. Okay, I hope you found these tips helpful, and if you liked this video, check out my other video.
Wow, lots of great tips in that video. One of the main ones that I got from it was, again, stimuli at night. So, just like for our sessions, or when I'm hosting a session here on Zoom, I don't have any TV on. I don't have any noise. I do put my phone on, silent, as well. So I do the same way with sleeping. When I am sleeping, my lights are off, my TV is off, the lights are off. Just I want to concentrate on that sleep. So I really like these tips, and I hope you all got some that you really enjoyed or resonated with as well. Okay, and then we'll talk about it because she mentioned at the very end about the sounds and the documentaries. This new app that we're going to talk about is called Soothing Sleep Sounds, Calming, Relaxing Ambiance. Fall asleep to fast to 300 high-quality full stereo recordings from around the world. Sleep deeply every night and wake up feeling fresh and energized. So, Oregon coastal rainforest, soft rain, waves on a pebble beach, South African crickets, a warm crackling campfire, or enchanting wind chimes, right? So these sounds, that you can utilize with your iPad and time. I think it's a great option, right? Because I always recommend YouTube for a lot of different things, but with those ads and sleep, right? You don't want to be on your device when you're sleeping, or even right before, right? So I'm going to go to the App Store. I'm going to hit that search like we did before. But again, this is an app that you have to download. Okay, Soothing Sleep Sounds. There's the first result right there, or the second one, doesn't really matter. Either way, it'll come up. And it's right here at the top right-hand side. There is some other apps like this as well, but this one doesn't have any ads that you need to watch or listen to in order to access the contents of the app. So I'm going to put this link here in the chat. Okay. I see the other question in the chat just now, so thank you, but I am not 100% sure. Maybe someone could answer that in the chat. But yes, I just shared the link here for this app in the chat, Soothing Sleep Sounds. Let's open it and check it out. Okay. So again, make sure you follow any prompts that you see on the screen. Okay, so for this one, this is Get Free Rain Sounds app. So I don't want another app right now, so I'm going to hit cancel. Okay, so you can download sounds if you want. This is how you play and pause the sounds. You can set a timer, so that way your iPad's not, playing the audio all night, right? For example, and you can create mixes. So you can combine different sounds to make a perfect mix. So when you read through the tutorial, there you go. And forget, this is right here, when you see this is premium. But again, this is initially of course, a free app. So if I don't want to get the premium, so I'm going to hit the X at the top right. So again, you're not forced to get a subscription. It's just additional sounds, right? But look at the top right, you have the X. Okay, make sure you follow any prompts that you see on the screen. And once you're in, you're in. There you go. So look, rain, ocean, rivers, and streams. If I hit the plus, you can add all of these other ones if you want. Any of these other ones, right? Okay. So you can do sounds and you can do mixes, right? So you can mix sounds. Look, so you have your sounds and you have your mixes, right? So look, they have a preset one here, sleep mix. So this puts all of these different sounds, right? But you don't have to just use these for sleeping, okay, you guys? These are definitely good meditative and sounds, if you pray, praying sounds, I think it's sound, it's really good. Relaxation, if you want to work, if you want to concentrate on something, right? Not just sleep, but these are some good ones. So I like rivers and streams. So look at this one right here, Small River in Scotland. You tap on it, look, timed play. So I wanted this to play about 30 minutes. And there you go. Y'all can hear the sounds that play. Y'all heard that? That's good.
Yeah, I can hear that.
So that was the ocean. This is Pebble Beach in the UK. I'll play it for 40 minutes. These sounds are very, very subtle, but they're very relaxing. Even just listening for 15 seconds, right? That beach and those waves and just, that calmness, it really does set in. So
I really listen to the rainforest.
Yeah, that rainforest is real nice. And of course, you can add as many new sounds just by hitting the plus sign. Look at all these different ones that you can add if you'd like. And then you can mix them as well. So this one does a sleep mix. So I'll play this for 30 minutes and it's going to be all different kinds of sounds in one. So you can use the one there or you can even make your own. So I hope you guys check out the link in the chat and enjoy this app. So today, I really had quite a lot of fun creating this and learned so much. And I hope you guys, just were able to think about your sleep and any improvements that you can make or want to make, of course. If you get great sleep, if you get good sleep, and if you get maybe not so good sleep, I hope today gave you the tools to be able to get that wonderful, deserving sleep that you guys, and that all people need, right? So today we went over sleep in older adults, what happens when we sleep, aging in sleep, some reasons why seniors may not sleep well at night. We learned about the Apple Health app, so you can record your sleep data and learn about sleep, and of course other functions in the app. We learned about the benefits of sleep, physically, mentally, and we had a short discussion on, what benefit of sleep is important to you. We learned about the podcast app where you can learn about sleep, listen to episodes. Those sounds are there as well if you want to use that, but also other topics too. It's a great app. And then last but not least, we learned about how sleep affects our brain and some ways to improve our sleep hygiene. Okay. So I really enjoyed those tips from her as well. And we learned about some this app called Soothing Sleep Sounds, where you can have that ambiance and that wonderful white noise to help you fall asleep, or other activities as well. So again, thank you all so much. For our last 5 minutes, we'll just have our discussion. So what is one new fact that you learned today? What app or apps are you interested in trying out and why? And throughout everything in our session today, how will you improve your sleeping habits? What will you do to get better sleep? But again, it was a pleasure to present today, and you can raise your hand or unmute yourself. Either one.
Mm-hmm.
But any thoughts for today's session?
Yeah, well, one new fact, actually, it's not new. I've heard it before, but go to bed at the same time every night and get up at the same time every morning, and that should help your sleep.
Yes, consistency is key.
Yeah.
In many areas of life. So
Uh-huh.
I appreciate that, Geraldine. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts? We got about 15, 16 folks on.
Yeah. Alex, what were the colors that promote healthy sleep? Did she say yellow and orange? And what about blue? Or what did you say about the color blue.
Yes, I do remember them mentioning those different colors. I mean, colors in general, you know, in art and everything, they do evoke different emotions. Like the red and the yellow is kind of like warmness. The blue, I'm assuming, is like calmness. You know, thing of water and such. So, you know, even what you have in your bedroom, like the colors in your bedroom, can definitely make a difference. So maybe if you want to feel a little more calm, maybe put up something blue, like a little painting, or something of that nature. But yes, colors and our sight and what we see definitely also affects how we sleep and how we perceive different things. So I love that thought, Yvonne.
Yes, thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm. I hope you were able to research that idea that we talked about.
I will. Mhm.
Okay. Anyone else? I do see Bridget, you have your hand up. Thank you. One new fact, what apps do you like? Any sleep?
One thing I did learn, try not to eat too late and don't exercise just before you go to bed. If you exercise too much, you'll overstimulate yourself. And then if you eat too late toward your bedtime, you might not rest because your body is in the mode where it's in digestion.
Yeah, it takes energy, and you know, it's your body's not fully calm because it's you know, breaking down that food, and you know, that literally that movement inside your body, right? Your body has to work to do it off. But if you're trying to sleep and everything's going on in there, then you know that doesn't work out, right? So yes.
Don't drink too much water because it's gonna wake you up in the middle of the night. So
Well, again, before bed. So that's why it's so important to have a routine and a schedule and good sleep hygiene, you know, right? You know, a few hours before before you go to bed or want to go to, or you know, for that schedule, you just have to think, do I need to do this? Do I need to eat something? Do I need to, you know, drink this or take this, or what do I need to do before bed so I'm not on the phone right before I go to bed, or you know, the TV, you know, it really makes you think on, you know, your day and how you want to go about it intentionally, right? So
yes.
I hope that's helpful for you, Bridget.
Thank you.
And Alex, interestingly enough, when you go to the doctor, whether you have a chronic disease or not, I've never been asked about my sleep hygiene. How well do I sleep?
You got to bring
doctor never ask anything about that, your sleep. And
you got to bring it.
You got to bring it up.
You got to bring it up. You got to be the most best advocate for yourself. And that's okay, right? You learned, you know, today we learned about sleep, and, you know, now it's in your mind, it's in my mind too. So, right. So just, you know, if you are experiencing anything, or even if you're saying, tell them that you sleep well, and that's, you know, good for them to know. So,
yeah, they'd rather just prescribe some medication than to say, how are you sleeping? If one should have diabetes or heart disease or high blood pressure, a doctor never asks a question about your sleep routine or its impact on your health.
Well, again, you got to be the biggest advocate for yourself. So if they don't mention something, and you know, when you say it, then you know, they will certainly you know, take heed on that, right? So if you bring it up and ask about it, or you know, we all have to be in control of our health. Not saying anyone else can or cannot be, right, but you have to speak up and think about those things. Like if you get a medication, hey, how will this affect my sleep? Like if you know something is going on right now and you get something new in your life or a new thing, then you have to think about how that will affect everything.
Yeah. So when a doctor prescribes something, ask, how will this impact my sleep?
Yeah, or read the container, right? Read the label, right?
Well, the container never mentions it. You know, they'd rather for you keep buying this prescription.
Well, no, it should. If you look at all the different medications, they have that label or on what to do, like directions and things of that nature. So if it says it, great. If it doesn't say it, then may ask, right? It's just everyone's a little different, but at the end of the day, you have to advocate for yourself, but also listen to what they have to say. But you know, to gaps, right? It has to be both, right? They don't know everything, every single little detail about you, and the other goes around. So it's a team effort. So I understand why you say that, Lauren. So just keep doing that and keep asking those questions. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Alex.
Mhm.
This has been a very interesting session. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Any others? Again, maybe someone we haven't heard from yet or shared, of course, but any others too. But if you haven't shared, I'd love to hear from you today. Any other thoughts? Who is, unmute yourself and say yes if you're gonna, make, your sleeping, normal sleep, consistent sleep. If you're gonna make it a habit, make it a consistent thing, and say yes if you want wonderful sleep hygiene.
I'm going back to what I used to do and start relaxing earlier and start putting all the drama from the day in the back and try to lay down and rest. I do like doing that Zen color or reading. So that makes me relax more. It's and I'm gonna stop worrying about stuff and put that away till the daytime.
Certainly, yes, and just keeping don't mind those screens before bed. So definitely.
Thank you for the tips, though. I've really learned some stuff that I knew that I guess I just wasn't remembering. So it was
that's okay.
Thank you, Alex.
My pleasure. All right. Well, again, one last time, I'm going to ask everyone to unmute and say yes if you are committing yourself to wonderful sleep hygiene. And I'll see you all at 12 o'clock for our Railroads Across the World. So let's all say yes.
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 Sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes to great sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
All right. Again, thank you all so much for coming on, and make sure you review this video on our channel. But I will see you all in a little bit, and
A little bit.
and let's all have a wonderful sleep tonight and every night. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Alex.
Do every
As
night.
well.
Yes. All right. I'll see you
Good
all
afternoon.
soon. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Good day, everyone.
See you later.
Or see you very soon.
Everybody have
Bye,
a
Alex.
day.
Thank you.